Hello, and welcome to another episode of B's and T's. A little bit late. I do have an explanation. I promise. It's a good reason. And so I was gonna try to say that this is probably gonna end up being a shorter one, but I have a feeling this might actually not end up being shorter. So, if it is shorter, if it's not, sorry. Um. All right. I'm actually going to do mail call first before personal life because personal life takes up a little bit of time. So I want to go ahead and get to the mail real quick, and then I promise I will get back. Um, and there's also a reason why I'm kind of looking like this right now. So, and it's nighttime, so I have my overhead light above me, and my normal um, light from the room. So I apologize. Things are probably going to look crappy, and I am sorry about that. It's just, unfortunately, kind of because of things that have happened. This is kind of the best way to do this. So sorry. Anyway, um, just a few pieces of email real quick. Carolina Miskowitz. I think it's Miskowitz. Miskowitz. Anyway, first off, I do apologize. I do still have your stuff. It is still right here, just sitting right here next to me. It will get sent out, and I will explain why. I promise. Again, good excuse. Well, at least I think it's a decent excuse. But sorry about my eyes. Um, but I will get it sent out. I do promise. It is, it is going to be on the way. I promise you. She had talked about how there was also a. I talked about teas before, and she had mentioned that there's also two things. First, that there's red tea, which I totally forgot about. I've never tried. So, there we go. Something else I need to try. I've never tried red tea. I've never tried white. I've tried green. I've tried, um, regular black tea, obviously. And I have tried, herbal teas as well. Um, so, Oh, and today, for reasons as well, I do not have my tea of the day. I am going with my normal. I'm supposed to not do labels. Anyway, uh, some very large brand name of these are flavored carbonated waters. They're good. I mean, they're I don't know, like 85 cents or something like this for it's a 1 liter, and that'll last me an entire day. So it's pretty cheap way to drink, and it's no calories. It's no calories, no caffeine, no sodium, all that good stuff. So it's not terrible for me. All right. So, um, oh yeah, and also I was gonna say, Carolina, I guess. Never ever, um, um, you don't ever have to uh, apologize when it comes to long comments because I am the queen of long comments. So, if you ever want to just chat, have a long comment with me, that is perfectly good. I'm all right. Pam Dumont, which she said, "Yay for thank you for saying her name right." No, I'm sorry, that was somebody else. I apologize. Sorry, Pam. It was the next person who said thank you for getting the name right. So I hope I get their name right again. But Pam was talking about how um, they actually they were thinking about doing a FlossTube channel, and I'm like, yes, do it, because I mean, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Seriously, I mean, I am not a stitching perfectionist. They talked about how they're not really worried if there's a little tiny bit of kink in their floss, and I'm the same way. I'm very much of a process stitcher, not a product stitcher. So I like the actual process of stitching. I mean, I like how it looks when it's done, obviously, but I don't have, as you can see kind of behind me, I don't have a whole lot of room in walls just to put, a crap ton of stitching. So it's more for the process of doing it than actually what I get when I'm finished. So it's all good. And she also asked about finding those tags. The one thing that I would suggest is Instagram. A lot of stitches are on Instagram, and there's a lot of really cool tags on Instagram. So I would definitely start there. Okay, now Diane Duggan. I hope I got your name right again. Um, she had suggested a sponge tip trick. So if your floss is a little bit kinked, just use a very lightly damp sponge to kind of run across it, which is cool. So I'm gonna have to try that out. I know some people use. I've never used any sort of um, throat conditioner on it. Now you think I'd have tons of beeswax. I have one little cake of beeswax. I don't use it because it kind of makes the floss look a little different. It kind of gets a little shinier and a little darker, so that could affect sort of how your stitching looks. So I know it seems weird that I wouldn't want to use beeswax, but I just didn't really like how it looked on it, and I am sorry for the reflection in my glasses. That looks terrible. So um, but yeah, so I don't use beeswax. But I am gonna try that sponge tip. So thank you. And about your last name, I went from an Italian last name to a German last name. So trust me, I know everything about not being able to have a name pronounced. Although my name now, my married name is people get it more often. So there's that at least. The last email I want to go over real quick was Minnie Gray. She had mentioned about there they go, behind my back here, some of my um the Pop Funkos. So if anybody is interested at all in doing like doing a little Pop Funko parade, I wouldn't be able to do all of them because I have a lot, but I'm still very specialized in what I get. But even in what I get, like even the kind of the specialized things that I look for, um, I still there's still a lot there. So, but if anybody's interested, I can do some sort of a Pop Funko parade if anybody wants me to. I mean, that sounds fun to me. So hell, I might do it anyway. But I mean, if there's any interest, just poke me. Say yes, no. I don't really give a crap. It would be most likely. It would be one I would put out in the middle of the week that would not be a normal stitching one. So it wouldn't interfere with a stitching, uh, an actual like stitchy tube sort of thing. Yep. Sorry, getting stitcher. Stealing your words. But yeah. So if anybody's interested, just yell at me. Okay, so now we're going back to personal life. It's not been a very good week. I'm just gonna, put it right out there. So I am gonna talk about a little medical stuff. I promise I'm not gonna get gross. There's not gonna be any pictures. I'm not gonna show you any cool scars. Um, although I probably will have some cool scars. But anyway, I'm not gonna show you any of that or talk about anything really gross. I'll try to be as general as I can. But if you don't want to hear about some medical stuff, maybe go about 5 minutes ahead or so. Sorry, I don't have a timestamp because I don't know yet. But just go a few minutes ahead, and um, you know, then it's all good because not everybody likes this stuff, and that's really cool. Okay, so I'll try to go through this as quick as I can. So Tuesday, I was kind of feeling a vague pain in the upper abdomen. Um, and I didn't get a lot of sleep that night. By Wednesday, it gotten a lot worse. So I went to the ER. Um, they were they were very nice. They weren't the most helpful. I asked a couple times for some pain medications, and I never really did get anything that stopped the pain. They were nice about it, and they tried. So I'm not, you know, God bless them. But you know, um, but yeah. So I ended up getting a CAT scan complete with the dye. that makes you feel really weird and warm inside. It doesn't hurt because they just put it right in your IV. Um, so I'm not gonna show you my arm, but so they did it and they said, oh well, you have some gallstones, but I don't think that's the problem. Okay, so they ended up sending me home and still in pain with some painkillers, and the thought that maybe it's a stomach issue. So they gave me something for really bad stomach acid, which anyway. Anyways, so and they told me, well, okay, call your doctor, get looked at in a few days. All right, fine. Um, and this is the part where I have to say where I don't really consider myself particularly religious, but I I think there might have been somebody looking up over me. I'm just saying. Somebody was looking over my shoulder on this one because I got lucky. I love my doctor. She's great. She's a bit hard to get a hold. Well, it's very hard to get a short term um uh, a appointment with her just because she's very busy, which understandable, obviously. And somehow I managed to get one for Friday morning. Yes. So, by Thursday and Friday, it had gone back to more of that sort of dull sort of pain. The pain had dulled a bit, but I knew I wasn't out of the woods. There was still something going on. So I went Friday. She took a look at me, did all the good stuff, and she scheduled me um, an ultrasound like 2 hours later. I'm like, okay. So it took me about, it's in downtown, and I live south of the city of where I live, a little area south of it. So it takes me almost half an hour to get there, to get to the ultrasound place, and have that done. Which was, the lady was great. It was funny because we've had here in the south the storms, like, like winter and spring have been terrible. Like every time I get sick, it's like in a huge storm, and the power, while she was doing the ultrasound, the power was actually flickering, and we were all like, because you're in a room without any windows. 'Cause the light has to be really low for what she's looking at. So, and she was really nice, and they warm up the gel, and so it's not like, it doesn't freeze you. But anyway, so I got that done, and I don't know that I had even been home maybe an hour. And my doctor called me back, and she's like, okay, I talked to the doctor on call at the hospital, um, where, it's like 10 minutes down the road, which is great. It's nice to have it so close. Which, weirdly enough, is the hospital I was born in. Go fig. Anyway, um, so she's like, talk to the surgeon, get back to the ER now. I'm like, okay. She didn't explain why. She just said get back to the ER now. I'm like, okay, that's my doctor. I'm not saying no. So, by the time I got to the intake, the surgeon had just gotten out of surgery, so he was like there at the intake to say hello. Really nice, soft-spoken Indian man, not Native American, Indian from like India. Real nice guy. Um, the intake guy wasn't, because I told him, hey, look, my doctor told me to come in. She told me, the surgeon's name, and the guy wasn't really all that sure. He was nice, but he wasn't really all that sure. He didn't really understand why I was coming back in. But as soon as the surgeon came out, he was getting me through faster, which was like, okay, cool. So yeah, but they got me back there, and they got me prepped like super fast. Got the IV in, got me in one of those wonderful gowns where there's nothing left of the imagination. And I hardly even had time to think about the fact that I was just about to go into surgery when they were already wheeling me back. So, and that's probably a good thing, because if you get to think about it, then you start freaking out. So, and so the next thing I know, I'm in the recovery room. I mean, I remember being wheeled into the ER, and that's it. Like, the last time I know that I'm very unlucky. I had kidney stones last year, that they had to remove. And I remember last year going into the ER, actually getting put on the table and getting the gas. I don't even remember that this time. I had just gone through the doors of the ER, and that's the last thing I remember. Then I was groggy and waking up. Um, and so last time my husband was able to be there to make fun of my grogginess and support me and all that, make fun in a nice way. But so he was there, and unfortunately, because of all this crap, he couldn't be there. But the nurse was really nice. She sat with me, and I mean, I think we may have talked a little bit. I don't really remember. I was pretty out of it. I do remember though. She called my husband. Told him what's going on. Say, hey, you can come pick her up. But I remember her saying, yeah, they took out the gallbladder. It was gangrenous. And all I can say is that I am very, very glad that I was pumped full of drugs, because if I had actually thought about that, that would have freaked me out, because that means that it was getting a lot worse than I thought it was, even though it didn't feel any worse. So, yeah, and it still kind of freaks me. It still kind of freaks my husband out too. But we try not to dwell on that whole idea of what that was. So, I got sent home, got him some painkillers, and now I have four kind of cool little scars. I got like the big scar is kind of right here, kind of where the end of your uh maybe right above the end of my rib cage. And then I've got one right underneath my belly, and then I've got two over here on the right hand side that are kind of small. The belly is the smallest, this is the largest, and then these are kind of two on the side. Um, Everything seems to be healing well. They didn't actually use stitches; they used kind of that glue sort of stuff. So I have this weird gluey stuff keeping my skin together for right now. So, but it's working. I mean, they're bruising up pretty, but I've been looking at them. I've been watching them, making sure that everything is good. So far, I mean, they're bruising up, but they seem to be in all right shape. Um, Thankfully, I'm not having to take that pain medicine. It's not an acute pain. It's more of just it's a low uncomfortableness that there's something going on, but you don't really know what. So, but it's bearable. The worst thing is really, I think, going to be probably um, for the next month. I think I'm gonna have to be a little bit more strict in what I eat, and that's been excuse me, I'm sorry, that's been causing problems when it comes to finding meals. So I'm gonna have to start getting creative on trying to figure out things to eat that don't really have like cheese or sugar or chocolate or um, a lot. Well, more sugar, fat, um, cheese, cream, milk. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Butter, that sort of stuff. It's like all that stuff is out temporarily, at least. Um, because it's the long weekend, I have not talked to a doctor yet. I need to make a follow up, and I also want to, ask a little bit more questions about what I can and can't eat. The good thing about a gallbladder is that you don't really have to change your diet a lot. Just, I mean, less spicy foods. I don't eat spicy foods anyway. Some less less fat, less chocolate, less cheese. I can do less. I don't want to do none, but I can do less. I'm okay with that. So, I want to talk to them about that. And so yeah, so that's kind of what's been happening. To a lesser scale, um, a couple of sorry, there's rain outside. You may or may not be able to hear it through the mic, but that's why I'm looking to the side. Yeah, okay, it's really raining. Um, to a somewhat lesser extent, a couple of sad things also happened. I ended up losing my beta, my Siamese fighting fish. I didn't his name Smog. I think I talked about him before. He has been sick for a while. He stuck around for a long time, and I've I did the whole meds and water changes, the things that you can do. There's not a lot that you can do with a fish. A lot of it is up to kind of um, you know, how much they can fight. He was a fighter. Um, but I did end up losing him. Also, um, my brother's dog had to be, um, she had to be put to sleep because she was a German short-haired pointer. I'll see. I'll try if I can maybe post up a picture in my Instagram maybe and show you a picture because she was adorable. Um, and she was part of a. My brother explained this to me, so I don't remember exactly, but the German short-haired pointers. There was a group of breeders in the United States trying to make an American version of the German short-haired pointer, and she was apparently a part of that line, even though she was spayed because she's a pet, not she's not a breed dog. I guess that's what you call them. Anyway, um, so she was a part of that line, but she was still technically a German Shepherd pointer. And I know everybody's probably seen those from Animal Planet Dogs 101, where they kind of talk about dogs. And one thing I remember them talking about is they actually did one on German Shorthairs, and they said that they aren't necessarily good with children, but my brother um, actually had this dog before he had any kids. So, and she was, and her name was Dory, as in Dory from Finding Dory or Finding Nemo. Um, and she was absolutely wonderful with all four of those kids. My oldest nephew is uh, 11. And so they've never not had Dory around. So I know, things are a little tough over there, but I mean, she was 14 or 15, I believe, something like that. So she was very old, and she wasn't eating as much, and it was just really sad. And it was unfortunately time. Um, but she was very sweet, and I will definitely miss her, even though she wasn't my dog. Um, I still had plenty of dealings with her. I would go over and I'd babysit, or we'd have family things over there, and um, or when we had family things, even at my parents' house, a lot of times they'd bring the kids and the dog, so it would be 4 kids and Dory. Um, so it's been a bit rough this week. Um, so I live in hope that maybe next week will be a little bit better. Or I guess that would be this week since it's Monday. Uh, so yeah. But I mean, I'm healing up. They're okay for now. You know, they're dealing with it. So, everything will be all right. It'll be okay. So, yeah, this is gonna be a really long video. I'm sorry. I'll try to go through this quick. I promise. Cause I'm not a fan of ginormously long videos. I say that, and I watch plenty of them. Um, Personally, I prefer shorter ones. But I mean, I've watched videos. I've watched 10-minute videos, and I've watched 2.5-hour videos. So I'm FlossTube. So I'm whatever. Excuse me. So new starts. Let's do some actual stitching stuff. I'm really sorry that it took this long to get to the actual stitching. If you guys saw that my Instagram, I gave up a bit on Smog. I was just getting kind of frustrated with him, and so I just wanted to take a break, and I needed something small and kind of mindless. This was before everything started happening. This was kind of early midish. Yeah, I guess it was early last week, or maybe even before that. So this is Antique Cups and Spoons, and I'm sorry about the light again. Shakespeare's Peddler. I also have Antique Locks and Keys. For whatever reason, this was just the first one I grabbed out of the two of them. I wanted to do something easy with one color. So this was out of the two. I grabbed this one first. So oh, and this is my Vicky Clayton um, Stitch and Buttons beagle bag because my best friend has a beagle, um, and so and there's even like a little doggy charm. So yeah, this is my really cute beagle bag. If you can get bags from her, I definitely recommend it because they're great. I love this thing. Um, and so I'm using well the what I just had, and apparently I put down somewhere. I apologize. I believe that it's called Brown Bear. Um, I am very sorry, guys. Yeah, I am. Even though I'm not really on meds, I'm still a tiny bit out of it, and a little confuzzled from time to time. So I do apologize. I just, oh, there it is. Okay, I accidentally put it back. So it is Brown Bear by Gentle Art. By Gast. So it's got a really nice, just different shades of dark to medium brown. So that's kind of nice. And it's the way that I am stitching this. Let me get this out of the way here. I'm going up and down, so it gives a really nice, kind of striated pattern. And the holes are there. They're supposed to be there. That's what the pattern um, calls for. So um, it might look a little bit odd, but I'm just doing exactly like the pattern says. Um, so yeah. Um, so that is my only new start. And I did actually get some work done on, okay, come here, you. Put that over the side here. And I did get some work done on Smog before I actually quit him. So, the first page is done. There we go. And you can unfortunately see all this is going to be covered up. But this is why I'm giving it a timeout right now because I had a whole another part of his snout that was one off, and with something like this, this really cannot be fudged. So yeah, there we go. That's a better. It's going to be covered up, so I'm not really too worried about it looking bad right now because this is all going to be pretty full coverage. So, but I mean, so I did get one page done and a little bit extra over here and a little bit extra down here. But yeah, so Smog is coming around. He'll get put out of timeout in a little while. He'll eventually come out of his corner. So that's the works in progress and the new starts. Once again, nothing finished, nothing fully finished. I still need to work on my Halloween exchange. So it's Stitch. I just need to put it all together. So I'm hoping that's the easy part. I've done it once. This type of finishing. So I'm hoping that doing it a set. But I did it like at my LNS with some assistance. So I'm hoping I can do it by myself. So, well, we'll see. Um, let's see plans. Right now, since I'm not on meds, um, I'm sorry, I'm pushing the table that has the camera on it. I apologize. Um, I don't have any really specific plans. I'm probably just gonna end up working on cups and spoons a little bit more, just because, like I said, it's kind of mindless, and right now I just kind of need mindless. I can't put my brain power to things right now. I'm just too many things are going on right now, and that's also I should say why I'm in this something that's very loose and comfortable is because it's keeping I don't want anything up tight against my chest, and so that's why I did say I would explain why I'm in a a weird hooded thing. This is very comfy. I've had this thing for like, I don't know, 20 years or something. And it's just a big, it's not, I mean, I guess it's kind of a nightgown, but it's not really a nightgown. It's like a flannel thing. It's a, it's like a robe. It doesn't have pants. But it also has a little thing for my hands and a little hood for my head. So it's nice. It's very, very warm and comfy. It's very thick. And I'm almost too warm, but I'm good. Alright, so the haul or retail therapy. So I did get a few things. First off, there was Garen Toten Bags was doing a specialty bag for one particular spring excuse me, I'm sorry, spring pattern that they were doing a stitch along, and I don't think I have any intention of actually doing the stitch along. Excuse me, but I did actually want the bag because look at this. That is, oh, come on. I mean, it's like beehives, and bee skeps, and bees, and lavender, and lemons, and sunflowers, and oh my gosh, it's you know that's like everything. So that's very cool, and I love this new very professional label that they have on, and they still have the little excuse me the little tag there that you can do with the what is it pattern name, designer, start date. I never use those just because you can only use them once, so I always leave them empty, and they can come off. I've had a few come off, which is not a big deal because it's just on there with a piece of string and a little thing there. So I mean, I'm not worried about it. This is the 12 by 13 size. This will fit an 11 by 11 Q snap. Oh, the bees on the inside. Come on. That'll bring a smile to my face. Oh, bumbly bees. Bumbly bees. Look at them. Look at them. Look at them. Oops. Crap. Now I've totally messed up my There we go. Oh, there we go. Hey. Wow. For once, it didn't take 10 hours to readjust itself. Good job, crappy webcam. Appreciate it. And so that was that. That's of course my favorite thing. So that's that I paid for a while ago. But they'd said Gary and Ronnie had said that it wasn't going to be sent out for a while, so that wasn't a problem. This is from Fortnite Fabrics. This is the monthly, and they're actually doing them. This year, the fabric of the month is themed to mushrooms, and this is Morel, which is and it's a 18 count Ada. It's a really pretty. Let's see, how is this coming? It's showing goldier, yellower than it is. It's actually browner than what it's showing on here. But it's got beautiful, beautiful modeling. It looks better like that. It looks browner. So I think it's a lot closer to color right there. But yeah, it's really, really pretty. And once again, another one I'm gonna have to find something really nice to put that on. Another couple things are not really all that interesting, which are a couple of hoops. And there is something that I totally forgot to talk about because I can never have enough hoops. I totally forgot to talk about last time. A last piece of haul that should have been on last week's show was the fact that, and I know, get ready, don't have a heart attack. I actually got my first ever Heaven Earth sign. I know. It is it's the smallest Heaven and Earth design that I could find that that I still liked. I did not want anything that was like 600 by 900 or 150 colors or anything of that sort. I could not do that. I just can't. So I found a really nice design, and unfortunately it's PDF only. So I will try to get a picture of it up on my a picture of the PDF, sorry, up on my Instagram so you guys can see a picture of it. I believe it's called Mini Keep Strength. I believe it is. Essentially what it is it's kind of bookmark. It's not an actual bookmark, but it's kind of about bookmark sized. Um and it's a green, kind of an army green sort of background, and it's got kind of a tribal sort of dragon in black in the front of it. And again, I know I'm not. I apologize. I'm not doing it any justice, but I will post a picture. I promise. And so I've already got the colors ready, and I think I might have actually shown you these. These are the colors for it, so you can actually see the nice the greens, the browns. There's a few dark blues as well. Um, and so and what I'm actually going to use, and I talked about this a few weeks ago. Remember I told you that I got a black that was a not a non DMC black from a really nice lady in England. So instead of 310, I'm gonna try some of this black. So I'm really interested to see how the coverage works on it. So those are the colors, and now finally, now it's not 123 Stitch's fault. These came from there as well. But I know they're slowing down in sending stuff, which is fine, obviously. So it took a little bit to get this, but this is 18 count, easy count. I've never used easy count before. And so this is, let's see, this is 10 by 18. If I remember correctly, it's going to be just wide enough, and it's going to have a little extra on the bottom. So it'll be about this size. So, or a little, and that's with 3 inches around. So, this easy count will, that's what size the height is going to be. I have no idea where I'm going to start it. It's only, I don't remember how many colors are in here. I want to say it's maybe 20 or 22. It's not bad. I have ones that have a lot more colors than this Haid does. In fact, this Smog, which isn't Timeout, has more colors than this. So I'm really hoping that this is going to be a Haid that will be a nice kind of introduction to Haid. It is full coverage, but that's okay. I mean, I have done some full coverage stuff. Nothing I haven't finished anything full coverage, but I've started 3. Let's see, I've got the Van Gogh, I've got the Good Omens, and even the Smog I would consider full coverage, even though there is some background that's not there, but everything that's in it is full coverage. So I still consider that a full coverage, so I'm gonna say 3. All right. So anyway, so that would be 4. So, but I don't know. I mean, it may not get started for a while. Who knows? Even though now I've finally got it. But we'll see. We'll see. All right. So that was haul. Gonna try to go through these pretty quick. Got FlossTuber of the week. Minnie Gray. I watched her in the past, and there was, I don't know, it was last year. I was starting to get overwhelmed, and I seriously cut back who I was watching to just like a few people. And now I've been slowly adding people again and again, and I don't know why it took me so long to add her back, because she is really sweet, and I love the stuff she does. Um, and she likes um she likes Funkos too. So, or at least her husband does. I think she said it was her husband, but anyway, either way. But yeah, so Minnie Gray, she's actually very cool. I love her her little she has a little like a magic Q snap, which is just really cool. So yeah, the magic Q snap is kind of awesome. Um, one day I will be in that magic Q snap. Anyway, so um, so yeah, that's the going to be the floss tuber of the week. Um, I apologize, my cat is getting my attention to the side here. Don't think she's going to visit us this time. She's zonked out for the night. This is her sleeping time. So unfortunately, no kitty. Sorry. For the stitching website of the week, I'm going to put in, and these links will be in the description, of course. Fire Poppies, which I have not been to yet. They just opened, I believe, early last year, mid last year. They are in. I live in the northern part of South Carolina. Excuse me. They live. They live. They the business is in Summerville, South Carolina, which is very close to Charleston, which is literally on the opposite side of South Carolina from me. Uh, I mean, that's not saying much because South Carolina, I want to say, is the 10th smallest state, something like that. But anyway, to get from where I am to Charleston's about 3.5 hours, 3.5 hours, depending on where you want to go. So I haven't been able to make a trip down there yet, but I want to go. A lot of people have ordered. You can order online. I have not made an order online yet. I was gonna actually order the fabric and the hoops from them. They did not have the easy count I needed though. That's why I went back to 1023. But I will be making an order with them eventually. Um, when I need a little bit more thread probably. Because the prices are very, very good. And I've heard that their shipping is extraordinarily fast, which is nice. And especially for me, well, I know things are not as fast now, but being in the same state, I would hope that, it would be extra fast, which would be cool. So, but yeah, so Fire Poppies. And for the non stitching website, I am going to go back to YouTube, but it's not stitching. There is a old theater. I think it's at least been around for a very long time. In London, called the National Theatre, and they do very big time plays. Of course, with all this going on, they're not doing plays, but what they're doing is they're and a lot of their larger plays they have recorded like one particular show, and a lot of times what they were doing before all this was showing them through Fathom events like in theaters, so you would be on the stage, you wouldn't watch the stage, but I mean, you would watch it on a big screen, which was nice. Last year, my husband and I saw um, Hamlet there, um, and with Benedict Cumberbatch as Hamlet, Sean Brooke as Ophelia, and that was one more big actor. I can't remember who it was. It was very good though. It was very, very good. Also, we saw Frankenstein, which was a really amazing show because what happened is, and I think this was about 2015, 2016 is when Frankenstein was in the theater. There were two major actors. There was Benedict Cumberbatch, and there was Johnny Lee Miller, which ironically he played Sherlock. Cumberbatch played Sherlock Holmes in the BBC show Sherlock. Johnny Lee Miller played Sherlock in the, I believe, CBS series Elementary. He's English, and he played the character English, but the show was set in America. I only got to watch a few episodes. I thought it was pretty good. It was a whole different demographic. It was, both of them were a modern Sherlock take, and both of them were about the same. Like they started about the same time, but they really went two totally different ways. So you didn't really have to choose one or the other. But anyway, so what would happen is, one night, let's just say that Johnny Lee Miller was Victor Frankenstein. So that night, Benedict Cumberbatch would be the creature, and then the next night they would actually switch roles. So they would literally have to know they'd literally be both characters, you know, day to day, which is amazing. I mean, it's just crazy to think about. Um, and so, and I think if you go to National Theater, I think if you go to that website, I don't know if you can still see Frankenstein or not, but if you can, it's really worth watching. It's very minimalist, and it's kind of, I don't want to scare you off by saying it's a little artsy and avant-garde. It kind of is, but it's absolutely amazing. You still get the story of Frankenstein and the creature. It's just told in a different way, but it's very very good. So and I believe it's every week they're changing um what their featured one is, and I believe I have not watched this week's yet. I believe it's a Streetcar Named Desire with Gillian Anderson, you know, X Files fame. So that should be interesting. So it's definitely worth watching the National Theater. Also, you know, once the theaters start opening back up, if you get to see an advertisement for one of the National Theater companies plays being shown, definitely go. It's absolutely worth it. So that's that. All right, and the random bee fact of the week. Um, the type of flower that the bees take the nectar from will determine the honey's flavor. So that's why a lot of times you see like it'll say wildflower honey or clover honey because they'll have subtle differences in taste. So I don't even pretend to know what the differences are or have a preference. I'm not. You know, nope. I'm not that. I'm not that good. So, yeah, I guess that's really about it. This has been very long. This might actually be my longest video. I'm sorry, but I did have to kind of go on about what was happening this week. Yeah. So, uh, hopefully, here's to a here's to a hopefully better week. I can hear the rain still going outside, and this has literally been like the wettest winter and spring I think maybe ever in this whole entire state. So, you know, I don't really want a dry, hot summer. Um, I just am not a fan of summer. But right now, compared to what we have, a dry, hot summer, I don't know that I would really hate it all that much. So here's that. Hopefully. All right. So I guess that is about it. I will talk to all you guys later, and have a good week. Bye.